Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I already feel like I'm melting as it is. So I feel like I'm shrinking. That's why my guest is above me today. So I'm shrinking. Oh well, ignore me. We are joined actually for finally a one-on-one from Monday's guest for Coffee Morning. We're joined by the Addiction Warrior, newest the Mental Health Warrior team. Hello, Robbyn.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Very warm. Very, very warm.
What I think we need is what we did in school is get those pocket fans.
My mum has loads of those. She has like 7 or 8. Like she's got some set up upstairs, some set up downstairs, some in handbags. They're always there. She's always got them.
But you didn't think today though, did you?
I didn't. No. That's my fault.
well, there you go. If it's like tomorrow, then there's your plan of action.
I might have to.
Yes. So, do you know what? I'm going to throw some quick fire questions at you, like Kerry did. I'm trying to think different, because obviously I know you don't like pineapple, which is good.
That was not well received last time. I said it. I think Kerry wanted to get rid of me a few minutes in.
Well, you're on the same page as me because I can't stand pineapple. It doesn't even exist.
I just don't get on with it. I'm not keen on the flavour. It makes my mouth feel weird. I like fruit, but that's one of the only ones I can't get on with.
She's shaking her head.
I've disappointed her again, and she's not even here.
I know. I love you though, Kerry. Yeah. Anyway, right. So I'm gonna say rain or snow.
Oh, now it sort of depends how prepared I am. Like, because I've been in situations where I've been sat on like the bench outside with a massive umbrella so that I'm completely dry, and I've been sat in the rain just sort of listening to the rain, and that's been really nice. It's been quite warm. If I've got no raincoat and I'm drenched, I don't like it. And then again, the same with snow. Like if I'm wrapped out warm, I could build snowmen for days. But if I'm caught in it unexpected, no fun.
So if you have to choose?
Well, I live in Wales, so I think I kind of have to say rain. We have a lot of that. And if I didn't like it, I should probably leave.
Are you an early bird or are you a night owl?
I'm definitely an early bird. I get to about 10:30 at night and it's like, right, bedtime. But I will quite happily be up at 6, 7 o'clock sometimes. I mean, my earliest job, I had to be in work by 4:30 in the morning. So I'd be up at like 20 to 4. But I prefer that to staying in work until 4:30, if that makes sense.
Kerry's question, is there a 4:30 in the morning?
There is actually. Honestly, you wouldn't know. It's very dark at that point, but there is one. It's very quiet on the roads as well. There's surprisingly not many people awake.
But that's the best time, though, isn't it? When nobody's there.
Oh yeah, it's really quiet.
Especially to do your exercise, like if you want to go for a run.
I don't run.
No?
I really don't run. No, my type of exercise would be like dance or Pilates or something like that. Usually something to music or some badminton, but I don't run. I'm just not built for running. It's not what I do.
No. So, let's talk about Robbyn as a school kid. What was she like growing up? Because I'm seeing from a spiritual side, you were shy at first, but then you grew into being a comedy.
Well, when I was little, like really little, when I just sort of start walking around, I was really quite forward. So if my parents took me to the park, I would go up to some random person and go, "Hi, my name's Robbyn Burney and I'm from Wales. Let's be friends." And I was a really pretentious child, really quite pretentious. But no, I was always quite loud and boisterous, and I'd go up to people. I was never really nervous about doing that. I think when I got to sort of high school age, then you sort of come in a little bit because it's embarrassing to do things like that. You don't do that. And I just sort of joined in with everybody else. Yeah, it's changed, I'd say.
So would you say when you did that, there was some sign of bullying there?
Believe it or not, I've been bullied one time in my life. There was one occasion, I remember it, and this boy came up to me. Now, he wasn't very well liked in the class, so that wasn't a good start anyway for him. And he came up to me and he said I was fat. And I will admit, I'm a big girl. At the time, what I didn't realize was that the reason I'm a big girl is because I have a condition, and that wasn't diagnosed till I was 17. So at the time, no idea. It was just how I was. But in response to that, I'm not sure I should admit, in response to that, I slapped him in the face. And someone came up to me and said, "Oh, well done, Robbyn," and told him to shut up. And I think I've been really lucky enough to not ever actually be bullied any other time apart from that one time back when I was about 12.
Okay. But either way, you had to do what was right for you, and that was protect yourself, protect your dignity.
Well, I'd like to think I did that. I didn't slap him very hard, but it was sort of, "Stop it! What are you doing? Don't be horrible."
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know, my eye keeps itching. I don't know why.
Have you got hay fever?
Yeah.
Oh, hay fever's awful at the moment.
I don't like pollen.
No, I'm the same. Like, you can go out, if you get days where you go outside and you can smell it and you can feel the thickness of it against your eyes. It's like, oh, today's going to be a really bad hay fever day.
But the thing is, though, I'm okay cutting the grass, but
really,
when the next time I go out, I'm itching.
Oh no, I'm awful with cut grass and everything, and no, I'm really quite bad.
So, right, let's talk about like when you graduated from school. What was your response? Thinking, right, I want to help people who experience addiction.
Well, the thing is, going back into sort of high school and before I went to uni, I didn't know very much about addiction, specifically gambling addiction, which is where I work with Deal Me Out at the moment. So that's the one I specialise in at the moment.
Yeah.
I didn't really know too much about it. I'd learned the basic things in sort of my psychology modules, like any sort of psychology module would. As I went into university, I started coming across more people who would use drugs and abuse alcohol, so I became more aware of it. And I'd like to think I've always tried to help people in any sort of situation. I've always been hypersensitive of other people, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes I overthink things, but so it means that I can notice when people are upset. And that seemed to fit well in terms of sort of the mental health side. And because I'd struggled with my mental health, that also helped me look for things in other people. And I have seen people go from doing drugs socially to becoming addicted to them in a very short time. And it was quite scary, the transition, and even scarier when I realised there was nothing I could do to help by that point, because they wanted help and they didn't at the same time. And it reached a point where I realised that there was nothing I could do for them anymore. And I tried, and it pushed me away. And so I realised that there was nothing I could do, so I had to leave, unfortunately. And I remember feeling that feeling of helplessness. And then when I started working for Deal Me Out, which obviously focuses on gambling addiction, I got to explore addiction in a way I'd never explored before. I got to understand it more. And now I feel like if I was in that situation again, I would have been able to help a lot more now, I think. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Yeah. So let's retrack and go back to your challenges, if you want to talk about them. How did that come on? What was your biggest trigger?
Going back in terms of my mental health?
Yeah.
I would say we'd have to go back to my first year of sixth form, when I realised that I'd experienced my first panic attack. Okay. That would be sort of the bigger thing for me. Around that time was the time when I was diagnosed with my weight disorder. And I was also under medical exploration for what I now know is a gluten intolerance. But back then, they'd cancelled gluten intolerance out and were exploring for more serious things, which obviously was quite worrying. And without knowing it was intolerance, it was quite painful as well. So I wasn't happy with the weight diagnosis, because that was it's a chronic condition and there was no cure for it. So it was sort of, you've got this. And any image you had of you losing any weight, you're not going to get that, because that's not how this condition works, and you're never going to get that. And to find that out at 17 is really quite crushing.
Yeah.
Because you think, I've got so many years ahead of me, I could do anything. And then at 17 to be told, no, not quite. So there was that. The medical exploration, I'm glad it was only an intolerance and I figured it out, even though the doctors didn't, but that's another story. So that, and then the panic attack, it was all sort of realizing almost that mental health is a thing. I think before then it didn't really come into my life very much. I didn't know anyone who was struggling with mental health, and I wasn't either. So for me, I think that was the bit that I realized mental health is quite a big thing. And then going on a couple of years on from there to my first year of university, the panic attacks got worse and the anxiety got worse. And then I was finally diagnosed with a panic disorder and anxiety. And the panic disorder, I think that was the one that was really making my life quite challenging at the moment, because I would have between 10 and 15 attacks a day. And not only does that, well, you take time to recover from them, but then you're just exhausted for a couple of days after. So I just remember feeling just quite exhausted and wiped out.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was breathtaking.
Sorry about that. That was quite a lot. Sorry about that.
No, don't apologise, because this might help others to come forward who experienced similar situation. So yeah. So then obviously you graduated from a university and stuff like that, which is brilliant. Let's talk about your first job. What was that like?
My first ever job?
Yeah.
Well, my first ever job, I think it's one of my favourite jobs, because I worked in a pancake and ice cream cafe. It was fantastic. It was brilliant. And I worked for them sort of on and off for about 3 or 4 years, and they were so amazing. It was run by a family, and they were so nice. And you met so many lovely people, got to know the locals. It was a really lovely place to work, and I loved it. Unfortunately, I had to stop working there towards the end of sort of my third year of uni, just because things got a bit busy. And of course, by that point, coronavirus hit as well. And because I was only working part-time for them, and there were other people who worked full-time and needed the money and the hours more than I did, they sort of took me off their books, which I almost asked them to anyway. I had a wrist injury at the time, and it's like, I have student finance to help, so employ the people who need the job full-time. I only work part-time for you. So, but no, it was really good. They do amazing ice cream. I mean, everything they did was amazing. It was good, homely cooking, and it was different, and it was really nice, and still friendly with them now. I'll still go in, and yeah, they're just like another family, really. And I'll always remember them as my first job.
Well, just think about it. Out there on like Amazon, you can actually buy your own ice cream maker.
Can you?
Yes.
Oh, now don't tempt me now, because I would just get crazy with the flavours. That would be so exciting. Because the thing is, where I used to work, they had loads of different flavours, and I remember thinking, oh, we could try this one and this one. Like, I would just make random flavours and just experiment. I would end up with diabetes by that point.
What's your favourite flavour?
Oh, usually something with chocolate in it. So either chocolate or sort of Oreo or chocolate chip. Just anything with chocolate in it.
Mine's mint chocolate.
Is it? See, I'm not keen on mint. I tolerate mint in my toothpaste, and that's about it. I've never really liked it.
Mm.
Have I annoyed you now? So I've annoyed Kerry with the pineapple. Have I annoyed you with the mint?
No.
Oh, that's okay then.
You haven't annoyed Kerry. She's stubborn anyway, but it's all right. I love her.
Isn't she monitoring the comments? Won't she hear you saying
No,
that?
she's outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not tuned in.
She won't hear it then, you say?
No, the window's open, so she'll hear me.
Oh.
She can hear me. Did you hear that?
I did. So I can hear you.
So, let's talk about Deal Me Out.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come up? How did it come round, and what made you choose that name?
Well, Deal Me Out isn't my business. It's basically a project that was started a few years ago by a couple of individuals who were recovering gambling addicts and wanted to sort of raise awareness of it and help sort of support those who are affected by it, both those who have the addiction and then those around them who are also affected. And it's been running, I want to say, since 2019. And then this year, they've been asked by the Gambling Commission to present the National Gambling Harm Awareness Programme for all of Wales.
Wow.
So they've been asked to present 400 workshops over the next 12 months. I think it's July to next July. So obviously to do that, they then wanted more people to work. So this takes me to the end of April, where I'd done a couple of temporary jobs, so ones that were only a few months long and then they were going to finish, so campaign type jobs. And I even worked for the census for about a month or so, again, just a sort of temporary one, while I was finishing off my master's, again, just to help bring some money in, because I knew I was moving in with my partner in a few months and needed to put some money towards rent and everything now that my student finance had stopped. So I was looking, just sort of job hunting, and, you know, anything that sounds like it might be useful or might be adequate for me, I might have the skills for. I applied. And at the time of the interview for Deal Me Out, I'd just been offered another job in a dementia care home to work with the activities coordinator. And I really liked the sound of that job and I was ready to accept it. But then I had this interview and I thought, well, I know I want to do the other job, but I'll do this interview just for interview experience and just see what it's like.
Yeah.
And so I did the interview with them, and they were talking about what their plans were, and it all sounded really good. And then I was expecting sort of, we'll get in touch in the next few weeks or so, something like that. And we got to the end of the interview and they went, yeah, well, it's yours if you want it. And it was like, oh. And I didn't expect it. They would just, yeah, go for it. And it's like, oh. I was like, that's changed my plans a little bit, because I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for the dementia ward.
Really?
And I was like, can you give me a few hours and I'll just sort of mull over everything? And I was thinking about what this meant, and I thought, I've never been involved with addiction. I knew that it would involve presenting, which I was never. It's difficult with presenting, because I've been dancing on stage since I was about 3 or 4. So stage fright is never something I had. But presenting was something different, so sort of speaking. And in university, we had to do like a mandatory speech course thing on the side. So I knew that my skills had developed a little bit, but I'd never seen myself as a presenter of workshops and stuff. And I thought, this could be an interesting challenge. And so I went with them, and it has been really interesting so far. Like, I've learned so much about the world of addiction, specifically gambling addiction, but also other addictions as well, because they all come into it sort of like in the world of cross addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that it was going to be a job involving mental health and all the stuff that I'd learned in my degree, which is what I was aiming for. But now I've realized that I've ended up in a relevant career before I've even finished my master's at the age of 23, which I was not expecting for at least another couple of years. So I'm definitely really lucky, and they told me that they had loads of applicants for it. So again, it was. I still wonder. I think back. It's like, what did I actually say for them to go? Yeah, she works, because I need to write that down for the future because I don't remember what I said.
Yeah. So let's talk about you and your partner. Now, obviously, how long have you been with him?
It'll be 13 months next week.
Wow, long time. Young love.
I know. So
yeah. So with all them challenges you face, like at first, were your boundaries up, like thinking, am I going to get judged again from the past, or what?
From the beginning of our relationship, because we both had, I'll say, difficult relationships in the past, in that we'd both been, I'd say, taken for granted by our ex-partners. And we were both very open about that, because we were talking about that as friends, because we've actually known each other since we were very little. As both our parents went to the same, they go to the same university reunion, so we've been brought up and we'd see each other every summer. Yeah. And I may have had a bit of a crush on him when I was about 16, maybe.
Does he know?
He does know, and he did as well. It turns out, he's told me, even though he was with someone at the time. But
if he didn't know and he's watching, he knows now.
Yeah, exactly. But we've spoken about this, and he for ages, apparently. I don't know how much I believe him. I don't know if he's trying to say that to make me feel better, but yeah, I had a bit of a crush on him. But it was like, he was someone I saw once a year, and it was, one of those crushes that it's never something serious, but I'm going to enjoy having this crush type of thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, years went by and he didn't come to the reunion because of various other commitments. So I hadn't seen him in about 6 years. And then I think it was my 21st birthday or something. He sent me a happy birthday message, which he'd never done before. It was like, oh, hi, thank you. And we spoke for a bit. And then a month later, it was his birthday. So I did it back because he'd said happy birthday to me. We were speaking for a bit. And then it sort of petered out because we were both with someone at the time, and it just sort of petered out because I didn't want it to seem like something was going on with someone else when it wasn't. I was like, no, we're just going to let that peter out and leave it there. Yeah. And then 6 months later, so coming up to just over a year ago now, he put something up on Facebook about his mental health and struggles that he'd faced and where he was now. And because of all this with mental health and that I'm an advocate for it, I sent him a message and went, it was really brave what you said. I'm sorry to hear about all the things that have happened, but I'm glad things are on the up. And we started talking from there. And then it was only a couple of days later that we decided we were going out.
There you go.
So, yeah. It was really funny introducing him as my partner to everybody who already knew both of us, because they already knew us independently, but not together as a couple. So that was quite funny.
Maybe they saw some signs.
I don't know. Maybe. But from the beginning, when we started talking, we both were very honest with each other and said that we just wanted it to be, the communication to be completely transparent, and that we never hid anything. If we were worried about something, we would always say it. If we didn't like something, we would always say it. And I noticed that as time went by, sort of my insecurities, they just sort of started to slip away naturally. And just things like, for example, getting changed in the same room. I would never do that with my previous partners just because I was worried about how I would look and that they wouldn't find me attractive or something like that. Whereas now I don't have that. I don't have any of that. And I feel completely comfortable with him. And he had the same. He had insecurities because of stuff that's happened to him in the past. And I just told him that it doesn't matter, whatever you need to go through that, whatever you need me to say, whatever support you need, you've got it. Because none of that matters to me. I care for you, and I care for who you are as a person. Nothing else matters for me. Absolutely. And yeah, so I think we both sort of had sort of challenges to overcome from our mental health, but because we'd both been through something similar, we got it. And so we knew what type of patience was needed.
Absolutely. So what do you see in the future with you and your partner?
Well, if I look in the very near future, so the next 2 weeks, kittens. We've adopted 2 kittens.
Kerry?
Oh no.
Kerry? They've adopted 2 kittens. Robbyn, who do you think? She's running now. She's running.
I mean, I do have pictures of them. Is that why she's running? To come see the kittens?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it? I'll get the pictures up ready.
Yeah, she's getting it up now. Go on, you might as well come on camera now.
Oh, that's well cute. Is that a boy or a girl?
That one's a girl.
Oh, she's cute.
And then that's the other one. That one's a boy.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Oh.
So we should be getting them in the next few weeks.
I'm a reptile person. I'm not a cat person.
She will have
Oh,
a lot
do you
of
keep
fun
many?
with those cats.
I hope so. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, but get this. We've
Mhm.
got 9 in total.
9 cats.
Is there any wonder why I'm losing my hair?
That sounds like heaven to me.
But think, what?
9 cats. Cats everywhere. I mean,
Is that
cats.
what you want?
I mean, I'd take them, yeah.
I think you've just got back in Kerry's good books.
Have I? Fantastic.
Has she?
Even with the pineapple?
Even with the pineapple, yeah.
Oh, that's all right then.
She would do herself as
Oh, you got
cats.
it. Is one.
Do I get to see the cats? Oh!
She's a little bit grumpy tonight.
Oh, hello.
This is Onyx.
Onyx. She's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
I will bite your
Take
finger.
her. Take her.
Oh, bless her. She's
No,
gorgeous. Her eyes are stunning.
No, we think she's got some sort of trauma as well.
Yeah.
Because she's a rescue cat.
Oh, bless her.
She was abused at her last
Yeah,
house.
she was abused in her last
Really?
house. So, yeah. But even then, cats can have mental health as well, and dogs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the cats we're getting they are from a rehoming charity, so we wanted to try and support, because we've had loads of cats in the past in my family's house from rehoming shelters and things like that, because there are so many that just they need support, and they need these loving homes that are just, they're going to be kind to them and look after them and everything. So
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, are you planning any kids with him?
We've spoken about a lot of things, and in terms of it's almost like we automatically assume that we haven't even talked like, oh, do you fancy sticking around for 10 years? It's almost like, right, I'm doing masters this year, next year he's going to uni, then 3 years later he's then doing his masters, but that's in a specific location, so I'm probably going to move my job to there, and then after that there's this, and then that, and then maybe some kids. It's like, it just seems, I don't know, I can't explain it. It just sort of, it's automatic now. It feels automatic that that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, this is going to make you laugh. Obviously, me and Kerry was working at the time, and we just thought, like, I was on Millie, and then Kerry came in. I'm like, we need to talk. So I'm like, what now? So I said, we need to start planning the future with what we're going to do with our lives. Like, we was living in our own house anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, do we have kids or do we get married? How we decided? We flipped a coin.
That's fantastic. Which one won?
Well, we've got kids. We had kids first.
Fair enough. That's the thing, like, these days there's no specific order to do it in. I think for us, when we've spoken about kids, we would both like to experience sort of parts of our career first, so that when we do have kids, we can then commit to their lives. Like, I don't want to sort of be half and half, like not really there as a parent but not really there as part of my job. I want to commit to one, and then so I can commit to the other, because by that point I might be able to do some work part-time or something, or
Yeah.
figure a way around it. We both want to sort of explore as a young couple, really, before we add on more than cats.
I feel like Kerry's going to say something.
What, she wants a 10th cat?
She does. I'm saying no. That's for the record. No.
But then it's an even number.
Oh, no, please don't throw that at me.
See, and we haven't got a white one.
But the thing is, though,
We need to complete the set.
no, we've got 9 cats. We've got 1 guinea pig. So there's 10 right there. Then we've got 4 fish, because the kids have got 2 each. And then we've got 2 monkeys called Luke's and Tegan anyway.
Monkeys?
Yeah, the kids, the monkeys anyway.
Oh, right. I think you said they'd got 2 monkeys. I was like, where have you got monkeys from?
Yeah.
And Tegan wants a hamster.
Tegan's not having a hamster.
You
want a snake.
You meant to get hamsters in pairs so they don't get lonely. So you'll need 2 hamsters.
See, I want a snake, but I'm not getting one.
My auntie used to have a snake.
Yeah, I'd have a corn snake.
Yeah. See, the issue I'd have with that is I wouldn't be able to feed it the live stuff for food.
No.
I'm so sorry.
No, we've got a shop down the road that sells, I think it's for like, I don't know, about 6-7 quid or something like that.
Mm.
It's 10 or 15 frozen, like they're dead anyway, but the frozen rats.
Mm.
And they're about that big. No, they're about that big.
Mm-hmm.
And we just give it.
Yeah, I think I'd have to get my head around that for that. I'd have to get used to the idea. It's a good thing my partner doesn't want a snake yet.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, so obviously I've seen the pictures that you went into schools and did your workshops. So that's brilliant. So what would you say, what do you think of mental health today in the education?
I think it's becoming more of a thing in education, and it's becoming more of a talking point, more of an accepted talking point, and sort of allowing us to come in with these workshops. It seems that the schools are recognizing that all these things to do with mental health, they'll have the policeman come in and talk about stranger danger and all of those important things, which is fantastic, but it's brilliant that they're now bringing us in as well, because if you look at the basics of it, we all have physical health and we all have mental health. We all have that. That is just the basics of who we are. And some people suffer from physical illness and some people suffer from mental illness. Some people suffer from both. And I remember when I was on a first aid course for mental health, they said, so what is mental health? Or what is mental illness? And if you look at the basic definition of it and bring it back to what it actually is, it is just an illness related to mental health, which is something everybody has. And if it's something that everyone has, it should be a more accepted talking point.
I agree. So my next question would be, would you recommend having mental health removed from the PHSE lessons and stand as its own individual topic in the school curriculum?
Having it removed?
Having mental health removed from the PHSE topic, like the subject, and have it standing as its own individual subject in the school curriculum.
That's a good one, actually. I mean, the way you could look at it in that sense is, does physical health have like a standalone subject? But then again, a mental health sort of subject makes up for the lack of knowledge or information about mental health in general. So I would say probably yes at the moment, because it's becoming such a big thing and the importance of it is now being realised a lot more. And maybe if it did become its own subject, maybe it would reach a point where everybody would be so well informed that it wouldn't need to be, and that it could go back to the sort of PGHE one. But even if it doesn't, it means that more and more people are aware of it and are aware of how normal it is. Like, mental health everybody has, and suffering from mental illness, I think people don't realize more people suffer from mental illness than they think. Because everybody has it in the same way that, and it doesn't have to be the same, like physical illness. So someone might suffer from arthritis, whereas someone else might suffer from scoliosis. They're completely different things, but they all come under physical illness. It's the same with mental illness. Like, some people suffer from anxiety, some people from bipolar disorder, some people from psychosis. They're all different, but they all come under mental health.
Yeah.
So I think it's just making it more obvious of how normal it is and how many people it will affect because of how normal it is.
Yeah. What's the definition of normal?
What is the definition of normal? I don't think I'm normal. But then again...
Or perfect.
No one's ever going to be perfect, because everyone's definition of perfect is different in the same way that normal is. But I'll say the mental health... is with it, everybody has mental health, so mental illness is more common than people think, because it's bound to be. If everybody's got mental health, mental illness is bound to be more common.
Well, that's what the mental health warriors are actually planning, because obviously I've recently just qualified, got the qualification in understanding children and young people's mental health. I've passed that course now, which I did that a few days ago. Yeah,
I saw your post about it.
Yeah, thank you. And obviously, we're waiting on Kerry's, and then once we've done that, then we're moving on to the next one, and then we're going to be in schools.
That's the thing, and that is the best thing, because the other thing about that is the difference in age. So when we go into schools versus when we go into businesses, we talk about mental health in terms of addiction, and you have to change the way you talk about it, because you could rattle off all these mental health illnesses and they might not quite understand. Like, one thing I talk about is how lots of people who have a gambling addiction can suffer from PTSD. And I asked the kids there, it's like, so where have you heard PTSD before? Where is that relevant from what you've heard? And pretty much 100% of the time they will go, people who go to war and war veterans. That's what they associate with PTSD, which is true. Many war veterans suffer from PTSD, but it's not something that's commonly considered to affect people who haven't gone to war. It's a bit of an odd thing. And I asked them, it's like, before I came here, would you think that someone who's had a gambling addiction could suffer from PTSD? And most of the time they go, no. So it's sort of explaining that in a way that they understand, that resonates with them, because I can give them a whole bunch of statistics, like 1 in 10 gambling addicts can develop depression, but for kids that might not mean anything. For adults that might have a big impact, because lots of adults place lots of they rely heavily on numbers. When they've got the numbers, they feel like they've got more information. Kids don't always have that, and a statistic is a statistic. I didn't like statistics when I was younger, but something like that, explaining it in a way that they understand and they associate with something different, that is when you create the impact. And you can see the difference from when they're not really listening to when they've just gone, whoa.
Yeah, because I remember when I was 8 or 9 years old, autism never existed to me, and neither did mental health. Yeah. Because we never heard about it, because it was never spoken about.
No.
But now it is, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, all I've got to say is, what's one piece of advice would you give someone in your shoes? Like, if you came across you right now, stood in front of you when you were 17, what piece of advice would you give her?
That's a good question. And I've thought about this before, what I'd say to myself when I was that age. Well, I would say back at that age, I was just beginning to struggle with mental health. And now I don't struggle with it. It's still there. It's always going to be there. I'm always going to have the panic disorder. But I know now how to manage it and how to talk about it and how to communicate about it and how to help myself. So I think I would tell myself to not blame myself and to just be patient and be kind to myself.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of people, especially when they struggle with mental health, they're very forgiving and supportive to others, but they're incredibly critical to themselves. And I think more people need to just be kind to themselves and just cut themselves a bit of slack.
Brilliant. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And on that note, thanks for coming on.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
You're most
Apologies if I
welcome.
whittled on a bit.
Hey, no, this is what it's about. We're giving opportunities, giving you the platform to tell your story. That's what we do here. Hey, you'll be doing the same at some point.
If I don't mess up.
You won't. Come on, positive mindset, positive resilience.
Yes.
Come on.
Positive
And on that
resilience.
note, I am going to end this. Everyone, Robbyn will be back on Monday when we talk about trauma. Who's doing coffee morning then? It'll be Kerry. So, but on that note, yeah, I'm going to end this. Please join me again tomorrow. I've got 2 podcasts. Glad it's not 3 anymore.
No.
2 p.m. Yvonne Doherty and Jason Cotton, who's also part of the Warrior team. So thanks again for coming on, and I look forward to speaking again.
Thank you.
See you in a bit.